Hello. I'm 2 minutes late. After this, are we gonna tackle the skeleton and muscles? Oh, hello, Happy. The skeleton and muscles. Anatomy, essentially, right? I think I want to make some more videos on anatomy. So if I do that on a live stream, it'll probably be in the future. Because anatomy is a big deal. But yeah, today I just pulled some references from Pinterest, and we'll see if we can mannequinize them. How's it going, Happy? What are you having for dinner? And yeah, as you've seen in the other streams I've done, I really don't like to think about the anatomy so much, or the skeleton. It's in the back of my mind, but if I think about that, my pose starts to get stiff. So it's always gesture first, and then from there you add the shapes, and then you can start thinking about anatomy depending on how much you need. But yeah, anatomy is not something that you can just learn in a few weeks. I mean, maybe you could, but it's like one thing to learn anatomy and a whole other to learn how to draw anatomy, right? We've all got those, well, I've got Stonehouse Anatomy's book, but and it shows you how the muscles layer on, but it doesn't really teach you so much how to draw it in an appealing way, which is the important part. And that's where professional work comes in. You want to look at how other people draw anatomy, right? How did they take all that complexity and turn it to something that people like to look at? No idea what you can have for dinner. Oh, hey, Kika. Yeah, definitely right. Yeah, that's why I'm really encouraging people to look at professional work. I never did it enough back then. How do you draw the neck and the shoulders? The anatomy of the neck and the anatomy of the shoulders, is that what you mean? And hello, Christian. Go and see curry today. Happy days. All sounds good. I haven't had curry in a long while. The anatomy of the neck and the shoulders. I should do a video about that. I don't think it's as complicated as it seems. I think the hardest part is just like trying to figure out where everything attaches. So if I'm thinking about the neck and the shoulders, so obviously you have the deltoid, right? deltoid is just like has this sort of shape, and I think that attaches halfway down to the arm. For me personally, just understanding where these muscles attach to bone, that really helped me. So yeah, the deltoid, you know, you got the trapezium, which attaches to the back of the neck, and then you'll have the sternocleidomastoid, STM. Those are the only three muscles I really think about. This is very rough drawing, but because the neck has loads of muscles inside this area that I don't really care about. But the sternocleidomastoid really sticks out. Like this guy, for instance. Nostalgia, good times years ago. If only we knew about art in those times. Yeah, people do art for different reasons, right? But here's your deltoid. It's 3 heads. One of the heads, you see the clavicle. One of the heads attaches to the clavicle. Actually, if you like, if you feel near your collarbone towards the edge, or you can see here actually. See this little indent? That's, you can see the separation of the deltoid and the pectoral muscles. So if you look at a reference, you can see where the deltoid is attached into the clavicle. And yeah, so the SCM, right? It connects right behind your ear and then comes down to the your clavicle. So that's what I think about. You can see there's other muscles in here, but I don't really care about those. And then you can see his trapezius. Trapezius is quite big, and it's going into the back of his head. So that's what I really care about. As long as I know the bone structure, where the collarbone is. The SCM, because those are muscles that you can really see on most people. I mean, I'll make a video on anatomy in a way that's like approachable. I'm still trying to figure that out. I learned most of my stuff from Michael Hampton and Will Weston. And the way Will Weston does it is quite interesting because you can see him using 2D shapes. It's really cool. But yeah, it's going to be really hard for me to get into anatomy in the skeleton all today. But future videos, future live streams, I'll definitely get into it. I'll tell you now, I don't really think about anatomy so much. Only when I'm looking at a reference and I don't really know what's going on, that's when I fall back to the anatomy. In most cases, I'd rather think about the shape. Okay, so yeah, whenever you're doing these, so in this pose here, I can see where the where this like part of the ribcage is sticking out. The ribcage is basically that shape, and you've got the sternum, and there's parts of the ribcage that are attached, but towards the bottom you have ribs that aren't attached, and this one here that we can see sticking out is the one it's the last attached rib. The ones underneath it, they aren't attached. That's what I look for. But you know, I don't really like explaining these things because it just feels complicated. I've yet to do skulls, but I look forward to it. Skulls are not so bad, honestly. You're just focus on the stuff that you see on the surface. Yep. So this right here, and you can see that bony part of the pelvis sticking out as well. Right. So all these things are gonna help me with the perspective. What else do I normally do? Oh, you can see that line. And again, if you study boxes, you know that things should go towards a vanishing point. No worries, Christian. Yeah, don't. I wouldn't say don't try and sink your time too much into anatomy. Definitely learn it. Like I don't know anatomy perfectly right now, but I learn enough to get me by. And even now, I still go back and study some new things. But by no means do I know everything. And then once you learn anatomy, you'll start to realize that a lot of artists don't really know anatomy that well either. But it's good enough. Yeah, I normally what do I normally do? I normally go on Pinterest to find like anatomy notes, and I use Stonehouse Anatomy, and I look at professional work. Professional work, that's the key. So as always, I want to start off with the torso. Going through the boxes, you can start with anything really. Why do you choose this type of mannequin compared to mannequins like Loomis? So the Loomis mannequin, if I remember what it looks like, let me see. Loomis mannequin. Okay, yeah, the Loomis mannequin is... I mean, it seems pretty good. I've never used it, so I don't really have a reason why I've never used it. It is good. However, I mean, the arms and legs are just straight lines. So if there's anything, I guess, not good about this, is probably, I guess you don't really notice the 3D form of the arms and the legs. But it's good. If you can, I'd definitely recommend like using the rib cage and pelvis. I mean, it's a good mannequin, but I guess I never really knew about it, so I never used it, so I can't really say much about it. In terms of people on YouTube, you know, I watched a lot of Modern Day James, so you know how a lot of his videos are like focused on boxes and stuff like that. I think that's probably why I gravitated towards this sort of mannequin. And back then, I didn't know any anatomy. And also with the Loomis mannequin, he uses the rib cage. Actually, I'm seeing different ones. Oh, I think he has two. No, he has simplified muscles. Yeah, I had trouble drawing the rib cage in different angles. So I probably would have struggled with his mannequin, I think, back then. Now I don't have problems drawing the rib cage, but back then I did. Not that I can draw a perfect rib cage now, but I don't really care if it's too wrong. The rib cage is just it's just an oval shape. Okay, back to this. And if you haven't seen my video on the mannequins, remember, if you're struggling, just trace over. Nothing wrong with tracing. Unless you're like literally just doing a contour trace, which is, I don't know how that's going to help you. It's kind of funny. Ever since I've learned like gesture drawing, I can draw figures way faster. When it comes to this mannequin, it really slows me down. See, that's the power of good shapes. Shapes is a very, very fast way to draw. That's too long. I wonder if I could do a 1 minute pose with a mannequin. And you can see how I changed this leg, the back leg. You know, sometimes I don't like the reference, as in I don't like parts of the reference. So I'll just change stuff. Which is, I think, a good way to train yourself to draw from imagination. Because if you can just freely change the reference, what's stopping you from just creating a pose entirely out of your mind? I remember watching one of my fab watercolor artists apply boxes and it's like, yeah. I can't think of anyone who doesn't use boxes, apart from Ethan Becker. So Ethan Becker really, at least in his videos, he takes a shape-based approach to teaching, which is great. If you can jump straight into shape and skip this stuff, you'll be better off. Well, you probably You'll probably develop faster, maybe. I don't know. I can't say for sure. I mean, given that I did all this perspective stuff and then I did shape, I guess I needed this. I can't jump straight into shape. I guess it depends on who you are. I like how boxes help with perspective. Yeah, that's all they're there for. I mean, you can use them to make you can use them in your final art pieces, but I just prefer not to. Right, a lot of well, I have a few people say that, you know, these boxes, they're kind of like, they're like training wheels, like on a what are those bikes called? You know, the training thing on the bikes for kids. It's like that's what they are, and then eventually you take off the wheels, the training wheels, and you can move on. You never need them again, hopefully. Yeah, what it's called. What was it called? I don't know. I remember I learned how to ride a bike. I was just learning by myself. I remember I was at my cousin's house. He had a bike. I didn't have a bike at the time. And I would ride his bike. And I'd just fall over so many times. But eventually, I got there. Do you draw around the primitive forms or inside the primitive forms of Mannequin when drawing anatomy and such things? What do you mean around? As in, do I place this stuff down and then draw stuff on top of it? Oops, got the hand. Like full mapping. When I learned anatomy, I didn't do that. Yeah, I didn't do that. I've seen people do it, but I didn't do it. I feel like that's more complicated. What did I do? I copied Western, where he just kind of just draws a box. So let's take this leg. So you'll see him start with this, like, he'll literally do this. You have a 2D shape. And then he'll draw stuff on top of it. So on the side of the leg, you've got vastus medialis. I can't remember the names of the muscles. What is this muscle called? What is that called? Vastus something, I don't know. But yeah, you'll see him like start with this, and then he'll draw the muscles on top. Gosh, I can't remember my leg anatomy. So you got this muscle here. There's this muscle on the side. What is it called? I can't remember. Then you have the bicep at the back of the leg. I like that way, rather than like maybe drawing the bones and then drawing the anatomy on top. For me, this is easier. But you know, if you prefer to like draw a cylinder for the bone and then put the muscles on top like that, I think that also works. Let me see. Yeah, it's quite unusual to use just a 2D shape and then draw the muscles on top. You got bicep. You got the tricep. I didn't. At the back, the tricep is quite big, so you can see it from the front. What's this muscle called? The brachialis. You got muscles in the middle. I really can't remember my stuff. You've got your pecs. You just had an anatomy and then you don't need it anymore. Well, you still need it, but you don't need to obsess over like all the names and stuff. You'd obsess for a little bit. While you're studying anatomy, you're going to obsess over it. And then after you've figured it out and you've learned how to simplify it, that's it. You only come back to it whenever you need to refresh your memory. I saw a link some time ago where they draw the gesture and form volume wrapping afterwards. Volume wrapping. Oh, you mean the same thing Kiko was talking about? Oops, sorry. So yeah, the hand. I always prefer to TV Choi and Kren's Gusha. If you want to see what simplified anatomy looks like, those are good examples. And Will Weston. Of course, some of you may like to draw like Proco, or like every muscle is like defined. It's not really my thing. I like the look of it, but it's not what I want to draw. Right, I'm really into simplification and good shapes, good shape design. I don't want to be limited by reality. I'm just going to quickly clean this up so that looks presentable. Yeah, if you guys have any questions, just let me know. I'll try and answer. But yeah, I do really understand where your questions are coming from about anatomy and form, because it is important as a beginner. But then if you want to really stand out, you gotta have your shape design. Right, so just you learn enough, you learn how to draw a box, you learn how to draw cylinders. What else? That's it, really. Cylinders, boxes, and organic forms, you know. Like you learn that stuff in Drawbox. And center lines. And then contour lines. What else is there? Boxes, cylinders, organic forms. That's all I can think of. I'm trying to think of things that I use to draw. I think cylinders I think about quite a lot. More than boxes. I feel like cylinders are more useful. Boxes are good for buildings, for into environments. But even then, if you're doing organic materials, cylinders are really helpful. Because the thing doesn't have to be a cylinder, but you can kind of think of it as being a cylinder. Like the rules of a cylinder, where you have, what's that line called again? Basically the line that goes to the vanishing point. And then you draw an ellipse. What's this thing called? The minor axis, that's it. You can just think of things as having a minor axis, even if they're not perfect circles or ellipses. You just kind of think, oh, this thing's an ellipse, but then you modify it slightly. I learned a lot from your last vid, how you gauge proportions. Yeah, proportions aren't. It's not hard. It just takes a lot of effort to get right, and it gets frustrating. It's nice having things to fall back on. You know, comparing the features of the face. And I told you about those, well, I showed you, didn't I? The like 5-minute head sketches I didn't mention that in the video, but you do those 5-minute head sketches, and then you want to get a likeness. You have to look at those relationships. And if you only have 5 minutes, you got to do it fast. You just train your brain to see those things so quickly. I mean, the drawings probably won't be amazing, but man, drawing ahead in 5 minutes just feels good. Rather than spending like hours and hours, because I know people spend hours and hours on one head. And there's reasons for that, obviously, because they are rendering. But I love speed. Well, good video is that one that Anthony Jones did on speed. Such a good video. And I've also heard of artists like talking about taking too long can maybe hinder your creativity, because like you think too much, and instead of trying your ideas, you just think about them too much, and then you get kind of scared of trying new things because you let your brain like stop you from trying. Have a lot of fun with skin. Oh yeah, that Omodoro video is so good. I feel my strokes are being more intentional from gesture. That's good. That's really one reason why I encourage people to not stick with this mannequin method. I don't know, maybe you're faster than me at drawing these mannequins, but I can draw so much faster with gesture and shape. Sorry, I'm spending too much time on this. I'll leave it. Okay, next one. The way you compare skin tones to apply makeup. Yeah, it's so good. I love it. He's so good. I don't know if I've said it before, but I love it when he posts Reference Wednesday videos. And he just talks about these little tricks that he does, and they're just so good. Okay, so this pose is kind of cool. Okay, so again, can't really see his that bone sticking out. Oh no, it's there. Rib cage. So from what I can remember from anatomy, that part of the rib cage it's somewhere in this region. This guy's got quite muscular. We can't really see it. But we're not trying to be perfectly accurate. Oh no, actually it's here. That's a little trick, I think. That shadow is the hint of where that ribcage is. I mean, you'll see more shadows, right? There's one there. But the one beneath it is darker. And the darkest one is where that part of the ribcage is that I mentioned in the video. Got that. We've got that. Okay, let's do it. I am sad I need to pick up Some food. Oh, again, McDonald's. I mean, yes, fine. We can hang out. Well, we are going to hang out later, so enjoy the food. And I'm being really slow. It's already been 40 minutes. I've already done one pose. I'm going to try and work faster. Alright, yeah, the curry. Alright, good luck. I'll probably stream for like an hour and a half. No worries. You get your dinner. Yeah, I'll be here for another 50 minutes. Hopefully I'll have done more poses by then. the hazmat. Yeah, take care. Yeah, so this is great. For getting you to just see the perspective. And you can see I am changing things just because I want to. But yeah, I don't want anyone to obsess over getting the getting the pose exactly right.
Are you a filmmaker or?
Yeah, getting the pose exactly right. You don't have to. If you can go watch your favorite artists, if they show the process of how they draw from reference, you should really see how they take liberties with the pose and then just make it their own. It's more fun. If you think the arm should be would look better in a different position, just try it. If it doesn't look good, all you got to do is rub it out, or hit Control Z. You know, especially for those of you who want to be like concept artists and all that kind of stuff. It's all about experimentation, pushing the pose, making things more interesting, exaggerating reality. If you just get stuck being only able to draw what you can see, It's gonna hold you back a bit. So take a chance. Make some errors. Hello, Kitsune. Or Ven, sorry. What tablet do you use? Oh, girl, hello, hello, hello. So the tablet I am using right now is called Huion Canvas Pro 20. Yeah. Yeah, how's it going? How's it going, Graf? Yeah, I've been seeing your work on Instagram. It seems like you're really into like creature design. And I'm just like, is this dude gonna be making some horror games in the future? It's pretty cool. Yeah, so that tablet I got it from Amazon on Prime Day. I got it really cheap. Well, not super cheap, but at the time, I got it. There was a huge discount in it. For a while, I did have a 13-inch tablet, but then I saw that on Amazon, and I was like, maybe I should sell this 13-inch and get that instead. It's going okay. Just finished the drawing session. Nice. Dark fantasy creatures. It would be cool to make concept art horror games. Yeah. You probably know already of Robot Pencil. Wait, Anthony Jones? I think he's Robot Pencil. Yeah, have you seen his video on Proco's channel about speed? He just like, he did a creature design in 5 minutes. 5 minutes. I guess I don't really follow a lot of people doing creature design because it's not what I'm trying to learn, but yeah, I find it really interesting. Because like, what is the concept behind creature design? I'm using a screenless tablet and I still can't quite grasp it. A lot of my arm movements feel limited. How large is your tablet? That's gonna have a. That's gonna affect it. Right, that's why I like to draw on this larger screen. Like I've started drawing on my iPad again. Just because of some brushes that I want to use. Look at this. Also, it's quite different. Because the pen that I have here, the tip is quite... it feels more precise. Whereas the Apple Pencil is a bit more blunt. Oh no, it really does feel like a digital sketchbook. Why can I not get this foot right? Oh, you remember it? Yeah. Such a good video. I love drawing quickly. It's just so satisfying to just finish a drawing in short time. 8.5 inches on the long side. Because when I first started doing digital art, I had a Wacom. Let me see. I had a Wacom into a small. That was tiny. That really hurt my hand because I used to grip the pen so hard. How large is that? Seven inches. So I guess it's pretty close to that in terms of scale. Yeah, I guess what I can say really is, if you can, you would need. Oh, you got the medium, and you still feel restricted. Well, I guess the answer is, you need a large one, right? We'll just find people that you use what you have, and see how they move their arm. It's 10 inches. Okay, that's a little bigger. But you still feel restricted. Then I guess your arm, then it's probably still too small for you. What are you used to drawing on then? Because I used to draw on newsprint. I can't even get my proportions right still, and he just does something spectacular in seconds. Yeah, but I think what he's teaching is exactly what we all need. At least those of us interested in like producing those concepts real quickly. Is to practice doing things fast. Okay, let's move on. So yeah, I think the drawings are okay. But you know, I love gesture. Okay, got some more poses. I'm not used to drawing on anything. I started drawing only a few months ago. Still getting used to drawing with my shoulder. Yeah. I mean, growing up, all we ever do is draw with our wrists, right? To write. And so once you get into drawing, and they're like, try using your shoulder, it's very foreign. You just have to get used to it. And if you want to draw your shoulder, ideally you're going to need a larger space to draw on, right? So if you can, try and get yourself some newsprint paper, the large newsprint paper. I think it's like A3. You can practice, get some charcoal and some newsprint paper. And you can practice doing some gesture drawings in there if you wanted. Like if you really wanted to learn how to use your shoulder. I do know, because drawing with your shoulder is like a really an art school sort of thing. And I've heard of professional artists who use their elbow rather than their shoulder, and they create amazing art, and they don't seem to have any injuries. But yeah, draw from your shoulders. It's a very art school sort of thing. But I do it because I feel like my hands are healthier for it. Practice, practice, and practice. Yeah, that's good. As long as you're not burning out. But yeah, putting on a clock for yourself really helps. That's what I do. Whenever I learn something and I understand what it is, the next step is to get my brain to think of that stuff faster. All right, so I just posted the head videos, and now I do 5 to 10 minute head sketches. They don't look great, but I'm making observations quickly. The tablet isn't too small. I'm just not used to drawing my shoulder. Probably. So I don't have the tablet in front of me. But if 10 inches is half the size of what I have, Probably. It probably is that you're not used to drawing with your shoulder. I mean, if you think about it, your whole life, how many times have you drawn with your shoulder? Okie dokie, let's get started with this one. Pinterest has some really cool poses sometimes. And I just wish reference packs had these kind of poses. Like this pose is pretty cool. And I just discovered these two. They have a Twitter. And the whole Twitter page is just of them posing. What is it called? I think it's called Pose Archive. How do you spell archive? I don't know. That's their Twitter handle. It's pretty good. I use ink pens to learn to draw without my wrists, but I still use my wrists a lot because I'm a detail. Yeah, that's the key, right? Whenever you're drawing, right, you wanna start. You want the big picture, and then you can start focusing on little areas. But the big picture is for your shoulder, and then the little bits are for your wrist. Just work big to small. Okay, so yeah, I still have my old like pencils and charcoal sticks and pens. Almost 200, damn. How did you decide on it? Oh, it's called the Pose Archives. Thank you. Yeah, the whole Twitter page is just full of just poses, and I think you can use them for free. Yeah, it says free to use as reference. Credit required for reposting the image. Yeah, okay. I haven't heard that the shoulder's the best for curved lines. I know you've heard that. Yeah. Elbows for straight lines. I can see that. Okay, so yeah, I think I'd agree with that. Yeah. But yeah, what you want to do is you want to keep your hands healthy and your shoulders healthy. So grip the pen really lightly. And sorry for those who are waiting for me to draw. But yeah, this pose is cool because you can see his pectoral muscles like really stretching out. And so maybe I can make the box. I can reflect that in the box. So instead of drawing a straight line, I'll make it curved. I start with a big gesture base, then go to details. Yeah, that's the way to go. I mean, the last thing you want to do is work on details, unless your name is Kim Jung-gi or Peter Han, or literally anyone who works directly with ink. Because for them, they have it. Everything's figured out already. And like when you think of it that way, where they're working. It's like a printer. It's pretty incredible. But for me, I need big picture and then small picture. Yeah, really amazing how they do it. Did you start learning anatomy first or gesture first? I've got a friend that suggests I study both at the same time once I get used to it. So gesture, I did briefly when I first started. But I don't know, it didn't make sense to me. I was watching Proka's videos and like you'd see the pose, but the way he did the gesture was like, it was just like all these swoopy lines. I really didn't know what was going on. And then, you know, I found people like Modern Day James and they were drawing boxes. And I was like, oh, okay, I'll do boxes. Boxes make sense to me. You've got a vanishing point, things go to this thing, easy. Makes sense. Gesture was too abstract for me. So in fact, I actually did gesture, struggled, let it go. Then I studied perspective and I did, I just learned how to do figure drawing with these boxes that you see me doing in this video, in this thing here. And then I learned anatomy. So, yeah, I didn't learn them both together. I think gesture is difficult. So if you can learn anatomy and a gesture at the same time, that is brilliant. But I couldn't do it. So I just skipped. I did perspective and anatomy, and then later down the line, I realized how my drawings have no gesture. So yeah, if you can learn gesture as the first thing, even better. Because from there, you build on top of your gesture. But yeah, a lot of anatomical drawings, they're very, very stiff. No gesture. Like even studying gesture, I've started to notice how a lot of people don't have very good gesture in their work. Keep those wrist stretches in check, indeed. I mean, I do yoga and handstands every day, so I have to keep my wrist in check. Otherwise, I can't do those things. Those people have more than 10 years under their belt. Oh yeah, Kim Jong-gi, yeah. But even still, there's people with more than 10 years under their belt, and they don't do that stuff. I can post my studies on Discord. I struggle a lot. Oh, what kind of studies? What studies are you doing? I mean, I've seen you post on Cindy's Discord quite a lot. I've done a single gesture session last week, my first attempt. I feel like a lot of what you said is the same for me. A lot of my gesture drawings were right. It's just like, what is going on? What does gesture mean? It's so abstract. Brief out most 2D shapes. I don't understand how to draw through those kind of forms or how to see 3Dness. Not to mention, it was pretty bad, to be honest. Most of them didn't even look slightly human. Yeah, let me look at my Let's see. Like I have my sketchbooks, and I did throw away a lot of my old gesture drawings that were on newsprint, because the newsprint I had was A3, and I don't have any space to store A3. But yeah, if I could show you my old gesture drawings right now. Oh, you could probably tell that I'm trying to draw a person, but it's an absolute mess. But at the same time, it's kind of, it looks kind of fun, weirdly. But yeah, there was nothing here. I'm doing daily exercise for mobility. Oh, what kind of exercise? Where's my pen? Yeah, gesture is mysterious. And I'm so glad. If you watched my video on gesture, I talk about false drawing. And interestingly, the way they teach stuff is excuse me, they teach you gesture first. And if you listen to the instructor, Mike, he says he has a really hard time teaching people gesture. But yeah, you learn gesture, and then you'll learn form, and then you learn shape, and then finally anatomy. So all these things here, these are all like, these things aren't abstract. You can see anatomy, you can see shape, you can see form. But this thing called gesture, he said is the hardest thing for him to teach his students. I was actually doing it alongside an artist friend that had been drawing her whole life. She spent basically the entire session trying to explain it to me. We were drawing the same kind of stuff. Oh, nice. Yeah, it's always good to have someone who has an idea, or who knows what they're doing, right? Because we all know the struggle of trying to get good. Oh, it's hard. It really is hard. Yeah. So my suggestions for people with, if you understand gesture, is yeah, Force Drawing and Michael Hampton. He actually has a YouTube channel. I think it's just Michael Hampton. And he has a video. It's pretty much the same as his book. He has a whole 50-minute video on gesture. It should be easy to find. You just type this in, and it's nice because he talks about gesture in a way that might make more sense. But yeah, I always gravitate towards art that has good gesture. Always. Gesture and shape. Hardest part about gesture is that you have to push the joints, like they broken sometimes, they're dynamic feel, but it looks so bizarre. I guess it depends on the style, right? It was a bit frustrating seeing mine against hers. But you also know she's her whole life. That's a long time. Oh, welcome back, Happy. Back with the curry. So yeah, it just depends on your style, Grav. Let me give you an example of an artist that I really... Sean Galloway, Spider-Man pose. Let's see. No, let's do Kaiserilla. Kaiserilla is one of my favorites. Let's see. Window caption. So you look at this, right? Look at the legs. Look at the arms. Look how much they exaggerated. So it really does depend on the style. If you're doing this kind of style, you can 100% get away with just exaggerating things. And I absolutely love Kaiser work. Absolutely amazing. Look at the oops. If you look in the top left, right, look at the leg. Look how long it is. I love it. I love it so much. Yeah, that's the kind of thing I love. Very good. Nice to see you. Pre-Dyer. Wait, what was Pre-Dyer? I think I missed it. Trying to think of the shape. You too, so cool. Yeah, I love it so much. See, that's the thing. You can't. It's hard to do if you're just doing this kind of form, because part of you just wants to make things look correct when you think about form. Whereas when you work with shape, you kind of, I don't know, you just feel kind of more. You feel free to just try things out. But again, it really does depend on your style. There's an anime called Soul Eater. The artists and animators behind that. Ooh, so good. So much movement, right? You feel it. You really feel it. You can see it, and then you look at it, it feels like it's moving. That's what gesture does for you. It really makes your characters look like they're moving. I'm trying to figure out my style. Mine can switch between realism and manga. I mean, you just keep doing what you like. Don't worry about style. You want to try realism? Do realism. You want to do cartoon? Do cartoon. Eventually, you'll find something that kind of merges together. You'll really find what you like eventually. But yeah, don't get hung up on style. But yeah, I find style an interesting thing. Like, I was looking at Sam Does Art, like his Instagram page, and his stuff is really good. Amazing painter. Really knows how to push colors. But then there's part of me that just thinks about, what if Sam wanted to maybe break out and just try something new? Would it be too scary to do that? Because his audience loves that stylization that he has already. I mean, he has millions of followers. I don't know. Does he have a million? I don't know. So if he wanted to try something new and he lost followers, I guess it wouldn't be a big deal. He's got so many already. To think it's still an image, yeah. You not seen his work on Insta? Yeah, I love it. I love his time lapses. I think we'll come to things you enjoy. Might be a fusion between the two. Yeah, agreed. Yeah, as a standard style is something that just kind of happens. It's something you find. Yeah. Yeah, just draw whatever you find fun. Because I'm always looking at artists. I'm trying to figure out what are they doing. Right? You find an artist. You try and figure out how they're doing what they're doing, and then you try to draw in that way for some time, and then eventually you'll start to kind of see what you like about that style and what you don't like about that style. So like you take the shapes from one artist, you take the line quality from another artist, and all that kind of stuff, and eventually you fuse into something new. So yeah, just go out there and find artists you like, see if you can figure out what they're doing, try and draw stuff in their style, and eventually you'll pick stuff up. That's what I do. I want to make a video about it, but I don't know how to explain it. Like, how do I explain the breakdown process? How do you break down an artist's style? That's a good question. At the moment, all I do is I just copy. I see what they do, I copy it, and see if I can pick anything up. If you find yourself enjoying drawing anything, that is a gift, because you have learned more and you're being creative, indeed. Indeed. That's what I like both. But eventually you're gonna lean towards something. Like I like Kazurida's stuff, but I also like other stuff too. I love cartoon, but I still enjoy realism. Not like hyper-realism, but like realistic proportions. But in like I really like Lane Brown. Lane Brown, when he does his live drawing, he's a concept artist. And for those of you who don't know Lane Brown, let's look at Lane Brown for a second. Right. See, I really love this. Right? And it's not that I want to be a painter. Like, I don't want to be a professional painter or anything. That's not kind of the field I'm going into. But I still enjoy this stuff. But for the most part, I want to go into, you know, like cartoony styles. But this, I still really like this. And I wanna learn how to do it. But it's probably not going to define my style in the future. One way that it was explained to me, style is how an artist interprets shapes they see, the shapes they put on the canvas. Yeah. Yeah, I've heard that too. You're not massive into line work? I'm starting to appreciate more. Gravitate towards shape, body-like gesture. Yeah. You just try a bit of both. Like, I'm the opposite of happy. I like drawing. But doesn't mean I don't like painting. It's just that most of the time, I'm probably going to be drawing. Yeah, Alan Prima. that really scared me, that method of painting with no line work. You just do purely shapes. That's like very foreign to me. Like, you know, I've done draw blocks and all this other stuff where you're just drawing. And then to suddenly do alla prima where you just do shapes. It's just very foreign to me. Marco mentioned it, then Ven. That Ven. Thanks for pointing that out. Oh wait, what did I point out? But yeah, at the same time, you know, they do say good painters are good drawers. So just do both. That's the answer. You do both. You want to be a good painter, learn how to draw. You want to be a good drawer, learn how to paint. Right, painting's fun. I like doing everything. Just do everything. Don't worry about it. Like, I'm not always drawing in the same style. When Marcobucci broke down master artist's work and showed his shapes. Yeah. Shapes, that's good shapes is a big deal. Also good. Yeah, you have to rewatch his videos. It's pretty crazy that his videos are free. I'm doing drawworks right now, actually. Still in the 250 box challenge, my first course. Nice. I would actually, well, if someone asked me, should I do drawworks? I would say yes. However, if you kind of have a sense of what you want to do, I would say you probably don't have to do anything beyond lesson 2. But if you're like stuck and you're not really sure what to do, then go ahead, do the other lessons. You'll definitely learn something. But I think the essential stuff is in lesson 1 and 2. The other lessons you'll learn. How much do you learn? I can't remember. You just learn how to apply what you learn. I guess it's good. Or maybe you can just do the ones the lessons that you like. But yeah, I did do all the lessons, and it was good. Marcobucci is, yeah, he's so good. Probably potentially the best painting teacher on YouTube, in my opinion. I honestly just get overwhelmed watching all these videos on YouTube, or I decide to just put them to one side for now, put all their links. Yeah, that's a good idea. There's so many people making videos. Shapes and colors bane of my existence. Shapes is difficult. Colors, I think color theory can be hard, but I think it's easy to learn just how colors work. I think that's okay. But learning how to like bring colors together to make them look good can be tough. You just bookmark everything. I really need to download the vids and post links on the sheet. On the sheet like yourself. Wait, what did I do? You can message me later. Responds well to structure. Yeah, I think that's the really good thing about it. Because when you're starting out, you just got all these artists that you admire. You just want to do everything, but you just don't know where to start. Don't have playlists, Twitter bookmarks, and Insta bookmark. It's like, oh, I just did it, and I can't help but ask, do what? Yeah, I completely agree with you. There's so much information, it's just an overload. And you're just like, what do I do? Where do I start? Whose videos should I be watching? Is this stuff even worth doing? Yeah, if you can somehow figure out what direction you want to go with art, what styles you like, that will help a lot. But if you don't know, Drawbox is good. Because that's like the one thing we lack is like artists that don't go to art school is a structure. That's like the one missing piece. Even though we have so many good art teachers, you know, like Marco Bucci, of course, Ahmed Alduri, Proco, Modern Day James, Ethan Becker, you know, all these cynics, all these people. But they all have their own ways. So who do you listen to? Remember watching the vids, not understanding much as you do. As you do more, you remember it, singing the clicks. Yeah, that's the key. Rewatch. You don't understand something now, and then you rewatch later. That's what I do. I've even, like, stuff that I've bought, like video tutorials, they didn't make sense to me at all back then. But now I go back to them, you know, now that I've got some fundamentals underneath my belt, things are making more sense. And I can look at other artists' work and I can see what they're doing. So it's just a gradual process. The more fundamentals you have, the easier it will be for you to extract information from all this content and other artists. Was ever immediate? I guess, yeah, a little bit of information overload is rough. It is. What you really want is hard, because everything I see is amazing, yeah. Yeah, I agree. But yeah, you try. You try to do the stuff that you see. Try and copy it. How do you feel afterwards? I mean, I'm pretty set in what I want to do, at least to start with, but even just finding out what the fundamentals I need to study was a chore to find out. I had to ask so many people to even get a decent idea. Yeah, it's rough. Because you have like one person telling you to do this. It's pretty rough. But yeah, I'm happy that you're doing Drawbox, so you can have some sort of structure. Because the less you stress out over that kind of stuff, the more time you have to draw and paint. Yeah. I wonder if there's like a drawer box, but for painting. That would be pretty cool. What would you call it? Painter box? That's it. Someone has to make painter box. And then we'll have a 250 box painting challenge. I remember we were discussing it, and back in the day, people would search far and wide in the library to find one paragraph that may help you. Now this is too much. So yeah, See, if I find something useful, I always bookmark it. Like my bookmark page, my bookmarks, I have a whole section just dedicated to art related stuff. and I can always come back to it. Right, because there's artists who have blog pages from like early 2000s that's just kind of buried away in the internet that no one knows about, and I'm finding these things and I'm saving them because there's lots of good information there. Yeah, my list is pretty long. Yeah, if you find some art resource that looks good, just bookmark it. If it didn't make sense to you now, come back to it in the future. I promise. It'll be worth it. But yeah, there's lots of really good sites out there. Yeah, paint a box. Maybe I should do that. A lot of the responses were literally just Google it. But if you actually Google what the fundamentals of art are, yeah, I agree with you. And I think it is different, partly because it really depends on what path you want to take. You don't need to be the best painter if you're going to go into cartoon, but you do if you want to do backgrounds and visual development. But yeah, the bare fundamentals, I would encourage people to just learn how to draw a box, learn how to draw cylinders, learn organic forms. That will get you started. Draw a box, paint canvas. It would be interesting, wouldn't it? One website even said a fundamental of art is brushwork, which is like saying a fundamental of cooking is saying, yeah, a fundamental brushwork comes later, at least from what I've studied. Brushwork is a distraction from like basic painting. Basic painting is just like values and what's the other one? Yeah, values. It really is values and shapes. Brushwork is more, from what I understand, is like it's more of an expression of how you want to paint. It's so enigmatic. I'm trying to recall who I first searched for. Yeah, I can't even remember. Just do what I did and put it on a spreadsheet and share it. That's what I've done. Oh, what the sites? Yeah, maybe I'll do that. I mean, some of the sites they're not resources. They're just like they're art pages. So there's an artist called Paul Felix, and from what I've heard from other people who work with him, he's a fantastic artist. But apparently he's really shy, and so he doesn't have any social media accounts. So someone made a site on his behalf. I think it's called Unofficial Paul Felix. If you Google that, that will come up. So yeah, there's just like these amazing artists who aren't really on social media, but there's so much to learn from them. You joined Discord, nice. Shay spreadsheet, yeah, definitely. I'll be curious to see it. Please, man, no pressure. Yeah. You love seeing sheets. I love seeing post sheets. I'm more intuitive, but I appreciate structure. That's really cool. Oh, Beans. Hello, Beans. Yeah, social media is daunting. Yeah, so there's these like really amazing artists who worked in the industry, but they just were never on social media, so you don't know about them. I mean, some have social media accounts, but some might have like a few thousand followers at most. But then But then it's like these are the people who are making the movies, the animations that you used to love as a kid, but no one knows their names. Or at least not in the Instagram world. Brushwork says a lot without saying a lot. It says a lot without saying a lot, yeah. Yeah, I just see it as an expression. Yeah, they keep to themselves. So it's like it's really up to us to go and find them. Like the artist Dennis Waltman, who did cartoons in the 1930s and 40s. Like no one really knows about him, but his ability to storytell was like, it's amazing. And like one other thing I'm starting to notice is that some of these really, really good artists with the unique styles, they learn from like the old masters, whereas a lot of other Instagram artists, they tend to just look at other Instagram artists. So it's almost just like, it's like everyone's just copying each other, and then they're all fusing into similar styles. So like Avon and Minson, he's got such a unique style, and I'm pretty sure that comes from, you know, studying these old masters. Oh, thank you. I'll have a look at it after the stream. I'll probably have to continue this next week. Yeah, maybe I'll continue this next week, I think. Let me just finish this off. Change the head position because I don't like it. Or actually, in reality, drawing a box in that perspective is quite hard. Yeah, how are you, Beans? Maybe I can do one more real quick. Nice, yeah. Yeah. So this pose is really good because it's just a standing pose, but there's this nice gesture to it. Right, so you could always just like, so here's a gesture. You could always like push things more this way, push things more that way, and then you would have that leg further out that way. It's pretty good. Like you never want to just draw a front on pose without something like this, because the shoulders have an angle, the hips have an angle, which is called, what is it called? A Contrapposto pose? Right? Way more interesting than if the shoulders were lined up like that. That is very boring. Okay, this... Yeah, this is pretty cool. Yeah. I'm happy to see people like doing the fundamentals. It will pay off. It will take time, but it'll pay off. And you'll thank yourself for it. People wonder why I spend so much time doing these fundamentals. Simple reason, really. I just want to be a better artist. Nothing more, nothing less. We're probably opposites. I mean, the way you draw and paint, I think that's also good as well. Because you obviously love painting. That is very obvious to me. So, you know, if you don't want art to be boring, at the moment, I barely even have time to even study, let alone just draw. Like I manage like 5 boxes a day for the draw box 250. How people manage to do more while working a full-time job. Yeah, it's pretty rough. Let me link you to a video. I'd recommend watching that video about speed. So, I mean, you might not be aware of it, but you might be able to draw faster than you think. I agree. I can't fathom coming back from work and drawing. I'll be dead tired. Yeah, it's rough. It definitely is rough, especially when work really takes it out of you. But yeah, I've been seeing your stuff on Insta, Beans. I really like it. Yeah, definitely check it out. It's obviously this person's a professional artist, and we can't really expect to do what he's doing in 5 minutes, but we can at least like apply what he's saying. You know, maybe today it takes you, I don't know, maybe it takes you 10 minutes to draw one box. Right, and eventually, if you time yourself, you might be able to draw boxes a lot faster. So you're like putting yourself under that pressure can be quite good. I mean, it's helped me. I can't think of one time myself hasn't helped. It's still sucking. I feel like a lot of my drive to learn. Oh, that's too bad. A few months ago, I was so enthusiastic about it. And now it feels like it's dull. Thank you again, Nurse, by masterpiece. I am by no means a master. I don't know, why do you think about, what was it that made you excited about drawing back then? Because like when I think of artists who didn't go to art school, a lot of the time I'll hear them just say that they just copied the artwork of their favorite artists. Like they were just so excited to draw. I actually did that. I copied artwork. But yeah, I really like what you're doing, Beans. Yeah, like looking at Kaiserilla's work, that really gets me excited. Because it's just so cool to look at. It's like, if I can work towards that, I'll be so happy. I want to draw all this cool stuff, but now that I've actually looked at what I need to learn, this is so long. I see. I think it feels way more than I was expecting. Maybe that's it. You know what they always say, right? You know, it's not about the destination; it's about the journey, right? It's kind of cheesy, but I mean, it applies. I get frustrated all the time when I draw. I'm always frustrated that I can't do what this other artist is doing. But I've got to give it time. Eventually, I'll figure it out. Could be a week, could be months. I don't know. Could be years. But eventually, I'll get there. And it's like those little wins as you go. That progress that you're making, that really helps. See my copy artists, but I get depressed because I lose mobility. It's tough. It really is tough. Getting good is difficult, and it takes time. You know, in reality, what doesn't take time to get good at? You know, like I've been learning the piano. Right, I didn't learn music. I didn't learn an instrument when I was younger, but I picked it up myself. And when I first started playing, I just wanted to play everything, all the all the fancy professional stuff. But, you know, but then I had to humble myself and realize, okay, I've got to start from the basics and just work my way up. Like when I started, I just went in with the expectation of, oh well, I guess I can just draw a lot and get good. I mean, that's part of it, but it's not the full picture. Especially looking at Proko's videos, it's like, oh, here's how to draw these muscles. It can seem so daunting, but in my opinion, I don't think you need to learn anatomy as far as it's being taught by Proko. Like, I don't think anatomy is as hard as it seems. That's why I want to make a video. I want to make a video series on anatomy so that people can see it's not that hard. It's going to take time, but it's not as bad as we might think. And like I said earlier, the key really is taking that complex stuff and making it simple. You're not going to learn the complex stuff and then use that in all your drawings. You're gonna look at what you see and see how you can simplify it. I'm still in the copy, but not copying the artist actually wants to because there was a company. Yeah, that's a good point. Giving up in a few minutes. Yeah, I still do that. I copy artists. I started drawing from Dragon Ball Z frames, nice. Copying YouTube tutorials, then I went and drew animated images. Yeah, you'll learn a lot from that. But there's like different levels of copying. You can copy and not learn a thing, but you can copy something with an intention of learning something. So it might be shapes, could be anatomy, could be line work. That's when you really, really start learning. Yeah, like I said, that's why in a lot of my videos, I want to show you what professional artwork looks like. Right, so it's not just about learning about all these fancy muscles. It's really about how you can use that information to make, you know, cool art. I was laughing, having fun when we were doing master copy. Yeah, it was fun, right? Like when you learn to paint a bit and then you can just like do a master copy. Pretty fun. And that's really painful. I'm not changing my mind. What resources have you used for anatomy? Anatomy, it is a lot. I don't know. I personally feel it's not as bad as it seems. I feel like a lot of really good artists forego the exact anatomies and just use very smart ways to hide the imperfect. Yeah. Well, I was actually showing Kaiserilla earlier. Given that it is cartoonish and stylized, but that's the kind of freedom you have. You don't have to stick to reality. Right? You can just, I don't know, I feel like I'm saying too much, but in my opinion, anatomy isn't as bad as it seems. It's a lot to learn, but it's not as bad as it seems. And I think the reason is because there's artists or there's teachers out there who are trying to teach you every single little muscle. And if you do that, you also realize you don't need to learn all those muscles. You just need to learn the major groups. Right? I mean, why do you want to learn anatomy anyway? You want to learn anatomy so that you can take stuff like this, and instead of it just being boxes and cylinders, you can actually make it into something that looks like a person. right? Maybe you want to learn how to draw from imagination. Almost more than I need. I followed Master Kim, Peter Han, Perko, Bridgman, Lewis. Okay, so Kim Jung-gi, his anatomy, I guess I haven't really studied it. I just know he does these boxes. I know he does that. Peter Han, I haven't seen his anatomy. Perko's anatomy, like I said, Perko teaches you everything. And I think it's way more than you need. Bridgman, I think, also teaches more than you need. But Bridgman uses pretty good shapes. Loomis, does Loomis do anatomy? I never knew that. But it's good. This is giving me something to think about for future videos. A lot more from Insta. You can use Taco. Taco something, I can't remember his name. He does a lot of simplifications. So you could probably learn from an anatomy book and then look at his stuff. That's also good. But yeah, I'm gonna end now. Thank you all for being here. I'll continue this next week. And yeah, just keep it going. Find ways to have fun. Don't let art get boring for you. That's the last thing you want. Loomis is basically the grandfather. Oh, is he really? It's interesting. I've literally never looked at Loomis apart from the heads. He helped define the modern understanding that many other artists followed. That is interesting. Like, I've never heard of it. Taco is so good, right? Yeah, take care, Gaurav. Funny enough, I was practicing simple mannequins like this through this week. Oh, nice. Yeah, this is good to study. Right, no anatomy needed. But yeah, I'll see you all next week, same time. Have a Loomis PDF book. Yeah. I've never read them. I think I have them as well. Yeah, take care, everyone. I wonder, do you know any efficient ways to remember acting and gestures? How to remember acting? Like in animation? Okay, before I go, I'll tell you what I do. Well, I'll show you what I do. Okay, so I have this board that I saved. I just find expression sheets, and whenever I'm doing some artwork, I'll just have them next to me so I can find an expression I'm looking for. So obviously Jin Kim is like the master. So anything Jin Kim, and you're good to go. You can be safe that you're getting a good drawing, if it's Jin Kim. Oh, thank you, Ben. Thank you, Ben. Oh, thank you for hanging out as well. But yeah, this is all I do when it comes to acting and gesture. With gesture, I guess I have gesture. I have stuff like this. You know, this is the kind of art style I can't speak that I'm into. So whenever I'm doing stuff, I'll just look at this. I'll look at the kind of poses that they have, and I'll just get inspiration from that. And also, I've been learning how to storyboard. So I'm actually drawing from actual animation. So I learn acting from there as well. But yeah, that'll be it.